The Fed just cut interest rates and all the signs are pointing towards this crypto bull run really getting ready to kick off. So what should you be looking for? Well, in this vid, I'm going to tell you exactly what to look for, and I'm going to show you 3 altcoins that you should definitely watch as that momentum builds. And I'm also going to explain some risks as well that nobody's really talking about. If you were here in the last bull run cycle, you know that liquidity is everything. So put simply, people had a little bit more money, so they spent a little bit more money. And now the Fed has done something it hasn't done since December last year. It cut interest rates. And so what does this mean for you, and why is it such a big deal? Well, it's because since about April of 2020, all the Fed has really done is increase interest rates. And so when the Fed cuts rates and they're more expected this year, then confidence grows in the markets. People have more money, disposable income, and there's a bigger appetite for risk. And these are all things that crypto bull runs absolutely love. And here are 3 projects that you should definitely check out as that money starts coming in. The first is Tau, and it's creating the most powerful AI network. It's similar to the idea of Bitcoin in that it's a shared value system that can't be controlled by centralized entities like governments and banks. Tau takes that idea, but for AI, and they think that AI is mankind's greatest commodity. The network's already massive and decentralized, and it wants this commodity to be in the hands of everyone, not just Google, Twitter, or the governments. And I personally love this idea. Tau has its own blockchain and it's run by miners just like Bitcoin. But unlike Bitcoin that pretty much just only pumps out hashes that don't really do anything, Tau pumps out data and bandwidth, which is a real world asset, namely intelligence. Now, if you're still a little bit confused, I understand. And honestly, when I was reading through their website, I had to reread a lot of things. So put simply, Tau is like a marketplace for AI. So instead of one company owning all the models, anyone can plug in their AI or computing power, and if the network finds it useful, they get rewarded in Tau tokens. And so why is this important? Well, basically it's building a decentralized brain that the whole world has access to and nobody actually controls. Here's the chart, which looks pretty solid, but I want to show you the best way to read a chart. So here, obviously we've got the time along the bottom and the price along the right, but that doesn't give you a true representation of the gains. And so for example, between here and here, you might think, oh my God, that's amazing. You know, look, if I'd gotten in here and sold here, I would have made a bucket load of money. But if you actually go to the percentage and pop that in, you can see it's about, 62 or 63%. The thing is, right, is that if you come down here, which actually looks a lot less, you can see that's almost 200%. And so this is why this type of chart can be deceiving. So what you want to do is come down here and click on the little log button. And what the log does is it gives you the percent increase. So you can see now that this line on the left is actually a lot bigger. And this one we looked at before is actually a lot smaller. So the best way of looking at charts is to use the log, which shows the percentage increase rather than just the price increase. So it's positioned well, and I've already made some healthy gains from this project. But before you commit, there are some things that you should know about it. It claims to be decentralized, but a lot of the control is actually held by the project itself. Now, this only really affects things like governance, so having a vote or a say in which direction the project goes. And look, if that doesn't really bother you, then this isn't really a problem. Also, there was an exploit in June of 2024 where $8 million worth of tokens was stolen, but that's since been fixed. And so other than those things, this project is positioned pretty well. Una is an awesome project doing something that nobody has yet managed to do, which is to bridge crypto with mainstream gaming. The gaming industry is massive, and in 2024, it pulled in $298 billion globally, and that's more than the entertainment and the music industry combined. So that gives you an idea of how truly massive it is. Now, I'm a gamer, and if you're a gamer as well, then you know that you don't actually own anything that you get in the game. But imagine being able to play the game and bring the things that you earn to the next games that you play in that ecosystem, even your persona. So it's like if your Fortnite skin wasn't just stuck in Fortnite. You digitally own it via an NFT, and then collecting avatars becomes like collecting Pokemon cards or anime merch. Part of Unagai's ecosystem is Persona, which launched in February of 2024, and it's an avatar collection which has so far done about 10,500 ETH in trading volume. And they've also teamed up with a number of Premier League clubs like Arsenal as part of their fantasy football Ultimate Champions League. And fantasy leagues are big business. But there are a couple of things you should know about if you're thinking of getting into it yourself. And the first one is that Unagai has just recently pivoted to AI. So they began as a crypto gaming company, and this pivot took everyone off guard, and it left a lot of uncertainty and frustration in the community. So the question is will they be able to pull off this new vision? I understand why they went to AI, because it's such a massive narrative in everything right now, and it does open up a lot of opportunities, but will they be able to pull it off, and will the community stay on board? We'll have to wait and see with that one, but at the moment it's looking like, well, maybe yes, they can, and the community is starting to get back on board with it. So in AI and Deepin, everyone is talking about projects like Akash and Render, and I just recently did a video on Render, so if you want to know a lot more about that project, then go check out that vid. But a project that nobody's really paying attention to, which could be a better long-term play, is IoTeX. This project takes real-time data from machines and sensors to allow real-time AI processing. And their point is that AI as it is right now relies on old information, but theirs is going to rely on real-time information. What they want is that they want smart devices to talk to each other and to share data. They want your smartwatch chatting to your fridge and to your TV and to your weather station, all sharing data. You might be wondering, well, why? How can this actually be practically used? Well, an example would be if you've got an electric car, then what you can do is you can plug it in, and the car is going to pay for the electricity itself without you needing a credit card or any type of apps. Or your fridge can pay your electricity bill. That's the type of ecosystem they're building, and they've actually got some pretty good ideas. So for example, if you've got solar panels, the solar panel can automatically give excess energy back to the grid and let you earn IoTeX tokens without you even having to do anything. Or on a grander, bigger scale, local governments can access verified real-time data to help with emergency disaster relief. Right now, most of this is still in beta, or it's just simply an idea, something that they're looking to do in the future, but they do have GPS trackers and solar panels that are earning rewards right now for people who are part of this. There's a lot of promise for this project, and they've got some great ideas. There's a lot of potential, but here are some concerns that I have for this project. And if we look at the chart, it looks like it's been building for a couple of years, but there is sort of low daily volume at the moment. And if you look here, it might seem scary seeing these wallets holding large amounts, but these are just exchange wallets and are most likely burn addresses or reserve addresses for network operations, because they don't actually have any activity. They might have been used for testing, or it's just reserve. There's been no activity on these wallets basically since their inception. IoTeX is definitely one to keep your eye on, and there's so many other good projects out there. And now that the Fed has announced this rate cut with more expected, things are looking like they're going to heat up. And I'd really love to know, what are some of your favorite projects or some of your altcoins that you've got your eye on as we lead into this altcoin season? Let me know in the comments, and until next time, I'll see you in the next vid. Bye.